Welcome again to my course, Working in Child Protection Field. Our topic today is Child Protection Principles and Standards. Child protection is a broad field. It requires years of work to collect information and gain experience. The smallest piece of information in this field may save lives, improve life conditions, and protect children from violence, abuse, exploitation, stress, depression, panic, sadness, and other physical, psychological, and social issues. To deliver effective and positive services to children and families, whether you work in a simple or high position, whether locally or internationally, you should know that there are some basic principles and standards that must be followed in this field. Not following and adhering to these principles and standards may lead to harmful results, unexpected damages, or negative consequences on children, on families, on communities, or even on you or on your colleagues. Therefore, you must follow and adhere to these principles and standards. Let's first see the principles. Principle number 1, do no harm, which means don't expose people to further harm as a result of your work. You must ensure that any intervention, activity, service, or program you provide to a single child or a group of children doesn't cause harm or problems or makes the situation worse than it was. Programs, projects, and services must be delivered smoothly and safely and should be positive and effective. Otherwise, not interfering can be better in many cases. Second principle, non-discrimination, which means all your efforts, activities, and services must be provided neutrally and fairly in a way that doesn't differentiate between one child and another, or one family and another, or one community and another. Child protection services should be provided to all children regardless of their race, color, religion, and language, and no matter how is the relationship between you and the child or the family. The third principle is protecting people from physical and psychological harm. All the services in this field must be safe and provided to people correctly and safely so that doesn't expose their physical and psychological health to danger and coercion. For example, providing services in risky places may expose children and families to danger, such as delivering services in areas exposed to attacks or assaults, or in conflict areas, or next to dangerous roads, or in unfinished buildings, and etc. All these situations can expose people to physical harm. Also, we should not expose children and families to psychological harm, such as providing services in a way that humiliates them or offends their dignity and respect. In addition, the services should not force or compel children and families to accept them or to participate or engage in them. The fourth principle is helping people to demand their rights and seeking available solutions. Child protection workers must work as positive factors for children and families to obtain their rights. Everything you provide to children must be compatible with the Child Rights Convention, which we explained in the previous video. Child protection workers should find solutions and facilitate opportunities in case obstacles and challenges are faced. The fifth principle, strengthening child protection systems. All your efforts, activities, interventions, and programs should strengthen the child protection systems in the area you work in. And child protection systems mean laws, legislations, infrastructures, and health, legal, educational, livelihood, and other public services. You must not do anything that leads to weakening or disrupting these systems. For example, helping a child or a family to do something that is not compatible with the law, or leads to negative health results, or negative effects on education, and so on. Principle number 6, strengthening children's resilience to overcome difficult circumstances, which means all services, activities, and programs provided in child protection must lead to strengthening children's ability to overcome difficult circumstances, such as living in consequences of earthquakes, floods, displacement, post-war effects, living in poor financial and health conditions, and etc. These are the basic child protection working principles, and you will see some minor principles required in providing certain services or certain programs. But to start in this field, you first must know these basic principles, and we will learn the others during the upcoming topics and videos. As we mentioned in the beginning of this video, besides these principles, we have some essential standards, and these standards comprised of: first, coordination. In child protection domain, all services, activities, and programs are not provided randomly or in an unorganized manner. Rather, they are designed, delivered, and implemented based on continuous coordination in all stages, which means coordination with the legal authorities, government entities, local and international organizations, United Nations agencies, as well as with children, families, and community. In fact, no service can be provided to children without coordination with these bodies, since coordination saves time and efforts, fills gaps, prevents or reduces duplications, and etc. Second, communication, which means continuous communication with all the bodies we just mentioned in the first point. This communication includes exchanging permitted information and updates, studying obstacles, needs, results, and also filling gaps, sharing tasks, distributing duties, and etc. Third, advocacy, which means all services, activities, and programs in child protection must advocate for the rights of children and families, and that can be conducted through conveying information about their conditions, needs, voices, and opinions to the relevant bodies. Also can be conducted through representing them in meetings, forums, and events that may improve their conditions or enable them to reach their rights. 4. Information and data management. Child protection workers must have sufficient awareness of the importance and sensitivity of information in this field, as some types of information are permitted or good to be shared with partners, government, or even with people. But there are some certain types of information in this field that should remain confidential, and some types can be shared at limited levels or only with the relevant people or entities. For example, in case management service, which later in this course will be explained in detail, the social worker must not share the names of the beneficiary with anyone except the case management supervisor, because that may expose the beneficiaries to different types of harm, which we'll explain in due course. Fifth, monitoring and reporting mechanisms. Child protection programs do not mean just providing and delivering services to children. Rather, all programs should include assessments, evaluations, monitoring, reporting, follow-ups before, during, and after providing these services. Regarding monitoring and reporting, there should be mechanisms that are extended and connected to governmental and non-governmental bodies, to organizations, agencies, partners, families, children, and etc. These monitoring and reporting mechanisms help to see the real picture of the program or the service, specifically information about the impacts and effectiveness, challenges, obstacles, gaps, feedback, power abuse cases, and etc. These are the basic child protection working standards. And now we have some important questions. The first question: what is the purpose of these principles and standards? The answer is to organize the work, the plan, and the efforts in a manner that ensures the provision of an effective, useful, safe, smooth, and positive service, which can preserve the safety and the dignity of the beneficiaries. Second question: are these principles and standards compatible with the humanitarian work? The answer is yes. These principles should be followed and adhered to in humanitarian and in emergency contexts. Question number 3. At what stage of a program these principles and standards are applied? The answer is these principles and standards should be applied throughout all stages of programs, projects, and services. Question number 4. Are these principles and standards applied in humanitarian or in emergency or in development contexts? The answer is these principles and standards are applied in humanitarian, in emergency, and development contexts. After all these points, you may ask, what services or programs we are going to provide or to deliver to children that require following and adhering to these principles and standards. Before answering this important question, I want to mention that in the next video, you will learn the categories of children that the child protection domain targets, in which you will see many categories of children. Each category may require a different service or different program. Thus, we have several types of programs and services in child protection, such as education programs related to child protection, health programs related to child protection, nutrition programs related to child protection, livelihood programs related to child protection, water, sanitation, and hygiene programs related to child protection, distribution programs related to child protection, community child protection mechanisms, case management program, child-friendly spaces and centers, psychosocial support programs, youth and adolescence programs, peace building and integration programs, life skills programs, and etc. These are some of the child protection programs, and each of them can be divided into many types of programs and services, and you can find most of these programs are explained directly or indirectly in this course. So it is important to watch all the topics of this course in sequence. Thanks very much and see you in the next video.